Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Bryony and I am one half of the Indecisive Readers. Recently, the Women's Prize for Fiction for 2021 was announced and I thought I'd do a video on it today. I have no idea about any of the books. I have never really followed it because I find a lot of them are very kind of literary fiction, which I suppose is the title. But it's not my genre and therefore I don't know anything about the books. I kind of almost don't even know what they could be about. I don't follow people that would know what it's about, and so I've only really seen of two of these. And so I thought I'd do a video kind of like one I've done before, where basically I just look at the covers and guess what the book's about. So I thought it might be fun. I don't know if it'll make me want to read any of them, but we're here anyway. So the first one I have is The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennett. This has two women on the cover. It has a woman with purple skin and pink hair and a lady with golden skin and green hair. It slightly annoys me that they overlap a bit, but only one of them overlaps. That's annoying me. From the cover, I want to say it's about two beautiful lesbian aliens falling in love, and then one of them disappears and they try and find them. I'm kind of thinking Orpheus and Eurydice, the kind of Greek myth where they fall in love and then one dies and then they never get them back. That's kind of what I'm thinking, but lesbian aliens. The next book is Small Pleasures by Claire Chambers. This is like a blue cover with some oranges, and the oranges are starting to be peeled. Now, I think this is literally just a list of small things that bring the author pleasure. I'm thinking favourite things song, you know, from Sound of Music. I've written my own version according to the book. Oh, now I'm gonna have to sing it. It was fine when I was singing it to myself. I'll say it in a sing-song voice. I can't sing it. Peeling an orange and cute but fat kittens, paperbacks and hardbacks and special editions. Someone, not me, who can actually sing. These are a few of my favourite things. I just think that this was written in lockdown where everything was going wrong and the author had to derive pleasure from small things. Next we have Piranesi by Susanna Clarke, which is probably the only one I really know anything about, and even then I can't actually remember. I feel like it's maybe a Greek myth retelling, but I'm not convinced of that. So here is what I think from the cover. From the cover, I want to say that this is about a satyr, is that the right word? In kind of modern day world. And he's just a nuisance. He goes to ancient Greek monuments and climbs on top of them, climbs on top of the old like crumbling pillars and just makes his own concert. He's really bad and he just makes a lot of noise, and that's what I imagine Piranesi is. Maybe he's a kind of reborn god, maybe he's just a pain in the ass. The next book is The Golden Rule by Amanda Craig. What I'm going to say I think it is about, it definitely isn't going to be about, but what I think it is about is the book I would be most interested to read. From the covers, well, from how I've interpreted the cover. So to me, this sounds like there's an ancient rule that's been kind of passed down through generations. And as this rule has been passed down, there's also an ancient vase, so they're kind of connected. And it's like the family's job to look after it. But then someone breaks the rule and the next day they come downstairs and the vase is starting to crack. I was kind of imagining a like Pandora's jar kind of situation, and maybe Pandora never opened it, or did Pandora open it? I think Pandora opened it. I can't remember if someone else opened it and she just like brought it. But maybe Pandora doesn't open the jar and they just continue to pass it down through the generations and the world's all good. And then someone like breaks this rule. That's what I'm thinking, and I'd like to write that book. Write it, read it. I could write it if that's not the book. The next book is Exciting Times by Nisha Dolan. This is, I want to say, a very literary fiction cover. This is a plain cover, like just bold, blocky prints in pink and orange. And then there are two toothbrushes, but I have just noticed there's a third one, which now confuses my plans, because I thought it was an enemies to lovers romance between two toothbrushes. They're from different brands, but in such close proximity to each other, they start to talk as they observe the world. Yeah. Now that I realise there's a third one, it makes me wonder if there was a child or another person in the relationship who's been kicked out. Maybe they are cheating on their original toothbrush with a new one. Who knows? But I am invested in the idea of romance between two toothbrushes. The next book is Burnt Sugar by Avni Doshi. This is a purple book with, I want to say, aloe vera on the front, but I might be wrong. I think this is written for a world in which like houseplants are now a big thing. I can't get any of mine because I am stuck with cat. But I feel like it's written for that kind of world, and it's just telling about how sugar, particularly burnt sugar, is actually good for plants and what benefits they can have and things like that. The next book is Because of You by Dawn French. There are two ways I think this cover could go. The cover has just like a woman standing on it with her arms in the air. To me, she looks like quite a happy person. She looks like very colourful. She's got like rings on. She's got crazy hair. And to me, that looks like a happy person, but I suppose she could be covering stuff up. Because I think she's a happy person, I think she's talking to her sad and or depressed partner, and she is telling him all the like good things that's happened, all the like positive things he's done to her life. But I suppose she could also be shouting at a partner if he's an arse, or even shouting at the big guy in the sky or something. I don't think I've been very specific with genres yet, but I will be with the next one, because the next one is Claire Fuller's Unsettled Ground. To me, this kind of looks like a gothic dark academia type thing with a very witchy character, whether that's a witchy main character or whether it's a kind of presence in the world. The cover's kind of really dark, it's not very clear, but it looks like it's got flowers and plants and kind of just dark, earthy vibes. I'm imagining this crazy witch character to kind of live in a chaotic, overgrown house with flowers everywhere and fruit trees, and it'd just be fun. Well, maybe a bit scary, but she'd be a pretty cool feminist character. The next book is Transcendent Kingdom by Yaa Gyasi. I don't really know what this cover shows. It has, I want to say, plant flower things, but I don't know what they're called off the top of my head. It's green and pink, and that's kind of it. I'm going to say it's about a kingdom where there were old gods in a kind of religion, and they're not necessarily dead, but they're sleeping, and they kind of show their approval by making these plant things appear when something good happens, and then presumably they do something not quite so good. The next book is How the One-Armed Sister Sweeps Her House by Cherry Jones. From the title, it sounds self-explanatory. It's about getting by, living life as a one-armed woman. Not necessarily a one-armed woman, but a one-armed person. From the cover, the woman on it, I think it's a woman, it looks quite intimidating. I'm going to say How the One-Armed Sister Sweeps Her House is actually like a euphemism for keeping the world, your place tidy, and maybe it actually refers to kind of mafias and murdering people. Next is Luster by Raven Leilani. I think this looks like a modern, more age-appropriate Lolita slash a more classy 50 Shades of Grey. It kind of looks like it's meant to be sexy. The next book is No One Is Talking About This by Patricia Lockwood. Because the cover has just a kind of pastel coloured sky with a pastel coloured rainbow. I mean, I say pastel coloured rainbow as if most aren't kind of pastely, but it's more washed out maybe than, well, I suppose your typical drawn rainbow. I'm gonna say this is about lesser known weather phenomena. So including the Pinterest rainbow is what I've like named the cover. So that's just what it's going to be. Weather that no one talks about. The next book is Consent by Annabelle Lyon. I hope that this is just a book where it just says ask on 300 pages, or no means no, or just a really, really long version of that tea meme, you know, the one where it's like, think of sex like tea. Ask someone if they want a cup of tea. If they say yes, make them a cup of tea. But that doesn't necessarily mean they will drink the tea. 5 minutes later, they may no longer want the tea, and it'll be frustrating, but you can't make them drink the tea. If they fall asleep, you can't force the tea upon them. If they say yes, they might want it. You should check anyway. That's what I hope. The cover's kind of like a dark pink red, kind of that sexy light, with a bed and some shoes by the side of it, as if they have been thrown aside in a couple's passion. Then we have Nothing But Blue Sky by Catherine May Mahon, I think. The cover almost looks like a vintage photo from maybe the 80s, and so I'm thinking this is about a kind of romanticised historical romance. And by historical romance I mean like a couple looking back on the best part of their relationship, because if you remember in Nothing But Blue Sky, you've got to only remember the good parts, you won't necessarily remember the rocky road. And so maybe it's a couple, or one part of a couple, looking back on a relationship in its heyday. Maybe it's not in its heyday now. Then we have The Transition Baby by Tori Peters. The title slightly confuses me. I don't really know what it means, but from the cover, which is pink with like a red ribbon or a few red ribbons, I assume it's either about a seamstress, that kind of dressmaker, so potentially I'm thinking maybe like a drag queen or something, or it centres around a present someone was given and has now unwrapped the wrapping, but then I assume you might get wrapping as well. So I'm going to go with the seamstress drag queen, because that kind of doesn't necessarily relate to the title, because the title, like, why would you detransition? But that's the kind of mood I'm going for. And the final book is Ali Smith's Summer, which I am imagining is just a collection of what Ali Smith would have done had we not had a pandemic. The cover is just like yellow with a watercolour acrylic painting, and I just imagine the inside of the book is just a collection of her cancelled flights, her cancelled holidays, all the places she would have ideally gone to. All the places she would have ideally gone to, compared to the parking receipts she actually has from the supermarket, and old masks and weird things that actually kind of represent what summer was compared to what it should have been. So although I don't think I've actually got any of these right, let me know how wrong I was. Let me know if any of them I was vaguely correct. Let me know if you'd actually recommend any of the ones here, and let me know if you'd read the ones that I thought they were. And yeah, I will maybe read some of them. It seems unlikely. I'm not going to read any. Thank you for watching this video if you got this far. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Comment down below to let me know you're here. Subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you in another video.